Yes, I look ridiculous, but I gotta deal with it because I am sweating like a pig and I don't want to ruin my head, alright? So, first of all, okay, we finally finished She-Hulk, okay? I saw a lot of hate throughout the series, throughout all the episodes that I saw, okay? So, I saved myself for the last two episodes because I was hoping that the series was going into another path that people weren't liking because people were liking for the development of her own story, like the stories of her being a lawyer, her stories with Batman, or the story with Emil Blonsky, which happens to have on the sixth episode, seventh episode. It was the seventh episode. All of those stories, I think people didn't care as much, but I did, and I'm gonna tell a little bit more about it. And the two last episodes, which were perfect and saved the show for me. And so just don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let's go with the final review of She-Hulk. Okay, just like I said, the last two episodes were the best ones, and the other two before those ones, which was the episode of the one where she finds Blonsky's using, having a retreat, helping some people. This episode was actually a filler episode. I did not like this episode, even though that they had that part when she had like a boyfriend, on, and then she, had intercourse with him, and then he took out the blood for her. But and the other episode, which was before that, I liked more, which was the episode that she was, I think was the bridesmaid, is what you call, like the woman that is, supporting the bride on the wedding. This was a very nice episode. I liked it. You need to understand that this show is a comedy about lawyer and a comedy about She-Hulk, but people are trying to think that, this is gonna be a show just like Hawkeye, or just like WandaVision or Loki. It is another perspective, and the last episode showed that a lot, and then, I didn't think there was too much to say about those episodes because there wasn't no story development, heavy story development about everything. Just, at the end of the episode of the Blonsky, which is she takes out has the blood removed and then used for Hokage. And then this is the only development that we have, and that we know already from the episode of the wedding, that she who can take a punch, Jennifer Walters, and then she has a little bit of resistance because of She-Hulk, just that, I think this is the only aspect of it, and the comedy was top notch. I think there's no judging about that. It's good. Like, if you don't like the comedy, okay, it's not for you, okay. But the only thing that I have that I judge about, which was the thing that was reading a lot, then I agreed on. It's a comedy that exaggerates everything. But it's the thing, like, she only finds bad men. It makes the point that every man is bad, like, or she doesn't have luck with it. At least they broke this after, at the last one of the last episodes, at least. So I'm gonna take out this. So that's what I'm saying about, you need to pay attention at the whole thing. You don't have to watch every single episode and judge already. This show is gonna be sucking ass. It's gonna be bad. You need to watch the whole thing to understand what was the point. And we understood that at the end. Some people still hate it, but hey, you cannot agree to anyone. And then we saw at the next episode where we finally had Daredevil. Jesus Christ, help me, God! It was amazing, this episode where you have the joke with the frog guy, which was from the comics, which made me think about how many bad, like, superheroes or villains there is on the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they didn't use yet. And then we see Daredevil fighting against him because he's playing like a big mob. And then we see the whole discussion. Oh my God, they're comparing the Daredevil show from Netflix, comparing to him inside the world from Jennifer Walters. I didn't think that it was exaggerated, any of it, because, the action scene, I was surprised to see the action scene. I didn't thought it would be that good. It was pretty good. The moves that he made, he's more acrobatic, just more like the comics. And then he goes, say, no, but the comics is bad. Oh, no, the real, like, people don't know how to judge things, One time they're going to say, oh, no, if you put too much comic in, more acrobatic stuff, more crazy funny scenes you're gonna hate or you're gonna like, or you're gonna hate or you're gonna like when it's more real. You need to decide yourself. It was great. Him was so good over there. His clothing was just like the one that has yellow and a red suit. For me, suited perfectly. Suited well. The comedy was top notch. The funny scenes were amazing on their episode. They had such a chemistry between him and then Jennifer Walters. He had a big role in this episode. I didn't imagine that. He had a very big role in this episode. I was very surprised and happy about that. And it was, for me, it wasn't my favorite episode. If you know what I'm like, it wasn't my favorite. I think the last episode was better. And, at the end, finally, we see that Jennifer Walters gets finally a good man to lay down, you know what I mean? And it is Daredevil. If you want to lay down with someone in the show, it's gonna be Daredevil. Their chemistry, it's perfect. He's such a phenomenal guy, the actor, Charlie Cox. He's so charismatic. He plays perfectly Daredevil. It was such a great move to bring him back. And I was so happy about that. And I can't wait to see more about him on the MCU. His own show is gonna come out, I think, in 2023, I think it's 2023 or beginning of 2024. I just can't wait to see. I will watch every single episode, and I know still people are gonna still hate it, but you can be happy about anything. And then we see finally on the last episode that came out as I'm recording today, and we saw a extremely break of the fourth wall. I never seen anything like that. Deadpool needs to have something similar to this. It doesn't have to, but it would be awesome to have something like this. I never seen anything like this before. First, the episode begins with them trying to figure out who's Hulk King, and Hulk King is that annoying guy who is yada yada. He's one of the most annoying characters of all time. And then we see all of this reunion of incels, which was, for me, was part of the joke of the series. I loved it. It was awesome. And we saw on the Daredevil episode that She-Hulk was arrested because she was so angry that she almost became like literally the Hulk when the Hulk became so angry. And then he destroys everything. She was arrested. And then she left, but she needed to, have like a restraining order for not using her powers. And then, everything is developed, and then she's trying to find Emil because, she's so confused about everything. No, I need to find Emil so I can control myself and help everything. And then in parallel of that, there's a meeting about this, the Hulk King, the Excellencia, I think is the name of it. And then her friend or his friend from work, they're just going there to find something. And then we just figured out that they are literally going in the place that Emil Blonsky is, because when the scene cuts, you see she going inside the barn where Emil's do the meeting, and then he does the meetings as Abomination. He said, I was not gonna be Abomination, but I'm gonna be now. And there's so much fury, everything after, because we find out that She-Hulk finally finds out that the guy is Hulk King, and then she gets pissed off. She becomes She-Hulk, and then I think was Hulk appears out of thin air, and I was, and she's thinking like I'm thinking, what, they're gonna just put random fighting scenes all over it, and then the most amazing thing on the whole show happens when you think like the episode is over. When you finally find you go to the Disney Plus menu, and it was like the Disney Plus menu appeared. And then she looked like, oh no, the episode is not over, blah blah blah. She literally breaks the icons that we have on the Disney Plus menu. She broke that and went to the Avengers. It is the show that they show like the backstage of everything. And then she goes to the production of She-Hulk to discuss with them like, oh, this is such a bad ending. Come on, why are you doing this? I'm gonna talk with Kevin. So you think about it's Kevin Feige. And then they all laugh, oh, you cannot talk with Kevin, he's such a busy guy. And then I'm gonna talk with him, And then she goes to the Marvel headquarters, like in real life. And then there's the guy, just signed his NDA, joking about the NDAs that you need to sign because you don't have to talk about the movies. You cannot talk about anything because of the secret that it is. and then they just called the security, and then She-Hulk beats up the security guards from the Marvel headquarters, and then they go to Kevin, which is an AI, which is a robot. Kevin, which is like an acronym for something. This is just the genius part of it, because she was discussing how bad some people were thinking about the Marvel movies, the Marvel shows, about the lazy writing and everything about it, and then they were playing with this. It was amazing. Like I loved it. It was such an amazing thing because people thought it was, oh, this is ridiculous, but they just don't understand, because if it was Deadpool, people I think would understand. But it was She-Hulk. It was a completely totally different thing, because they didn't like some part of the show, so they judge everything that happens after it. But you need to understand that some parts are amazing, just like this episode was so great. And then they just modified the episode. It's like, oh, Banner, he doesn't have to be there. Oh, Emil Blonsky is gonna leave. No, no, no. He's gonna face his actions. And then, oh, and there's the other thing, because the guy, the Hulk King who gets this, has his blood, he just puts it in his blood, and then he just becomes like a very strange Hulk thing. This is gonna happen, okay? And then she changes everything about that, and then she goes to jail, and then and there's also funny thing where she meets Kevin. He goes like, "Oh, you can transform out to Jennifer Waters," but when the camera closest to me, because the transition of you becoming Jennifer Walters, from She-Hulk to Jennifer Walters, is so expensive, so just do that instead. This part was also amazing. She put like, oh, I'm gonna add this up, which is the Devil coming up to the episode, because I need to get smashed, you know what I mean? So I need to smash the Devil. Like, this was amazing. Laughed loudly. It was shocking for me. It was amazing. And then the episode ends. It was so nice. And then Blonsky goes to prison. Wong takes him out, which maybe he's gonna appear in the future. And then we see Hulk coming back from Sakaar, and with that also Daredevil being presented to the Jennifer Walters family. I love Charlie Cox, such a great actor on the role. And then we see Hulk coming with his son, and Jesus Christ, his son was a bad CGI. Like I cannot defend this. Okay, this CGI was pretty bad, or it was supposed to be like this. Oh, we put all the effort on it, but I thought it was such a drawing. He has a crazy hairline with him, but it was a very, very, very bold move to bring, Bruce back, and then show him another thing, which is his son. And it is a thing that probably is gonna be explored more. So She-Hulk, it is developing a new character, developed She-Hulk, which is such a great character in its own way, brought back Daredevil so we could see more of him, and then he's gonna have his own show afterwards, and then show some things about Hulk, which was a character that was a little bit forgotten, and then it's probably gonna have his own project. Not only that, but having his own son, which has in the comics a history of the comics, with him having his own son participating in the story. All of that culminated to the end of the show, which for me, had some drops in highs, had some highs and lows for me in maintaining a midterm about, have all the problems with CGI. And I understand that, some problems with the story because you didn't know where the story was going on. And some people had some problems with the comedy. I didn't have problems with the comedy. I liked it. I think it was suited very well. And if I was to rank the whole show, I think, as I said in the past, like, you need to rank the whole thing. You might say, oh, this episode is better than the other one, okay, but you need to understand the whole thing to see what the director was going to. So I personally would rate this show an 8. An 8, go to 8.5, but I'm gonna put it 8. Because it had some lows with a 6, but you have some 9s, 9.5 the last episodes, and they just were so strong to bring this grade up. It was a very, very good show. From She-Hulk was very good, and I hope there's a season 2. Like, it doesn't have to be to have a season 2, but it can have, it just needs to be well rated and everything that we already saw, and make a better CGI, you know what I mean? But anyway, did you guys like the show? Did you guys hate it? I want to see in the comments, like, if you didn't like the show, because I'm interested to understand your opinions. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and peace.